Peace and plants, my botanical family. Mr. Monstera here from my shop at home. Coming straight to you. Part 3, propagation. We know what propagation is. For one, let's just give glory for a beautiful day. On the East Coast here, we got a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain is happening right now. I'm pretty excited about that. Plants getting water and nourished outside. So let's just give thanks for the day. And I know everybody's probably exhausted. I hope so. Exhausted in a good way, because that means that you've used the day like our plants do. Now, let's get straight into it. Today we are going to do a potting series. So it's a propagation / potting. I didn't put potting on the description because it's all about propagation and just a different medium to use after you propagate your cuttings, right? And let's remember that we still have our cuttings here. Now, I just came out, I have this, I'm kind of sweating. I just literally came back from selling a bunch of plants. Put that there, and I'm kind of hot. I was moving all around. Selling a bunch of plants from our crops. We have many different crops here. Some 6 months old, some 3 months old, some 2 days old, right? So we're back here. Now, this is what I should have did to begin with. I'm feeling better, right? Now, so we have our cuttings that we did yesterday, our propagatings, our propagations that we did yesterday. These are a lot smaller, the roots, the aerial roots that are now forming to be anchor roots are very small. Here's one, very beautiful plant. I love these plants, guys. I mean, I could sell anything, honestly, but I'd much rather choose to sell these plants. And I do sell a lot of other plants as well, but this is like I'm telling you, this is like my uncle or something, or my aunt. I feel like they my cousin. For real. You can't look, you be like, all right, come on, where we going? All right, come on. So again, look at these smaller nubs, basically. They're just nodes, pretty much. A node is a protrusion that comes off of your stem that will inevitably bring forth a root. That is what a node is. We talk about this. We understand the language. Now, this is the plant that we're going to put in soil. Look at that root. Now, I chose a plant like this with a root so long because I want to show you the importance of potting plants properly. There's a series to it. It's like a lasagna almost. You kind of have to tamper it as you go. And I'll show you what I mean. I have this clear makeshift pot here that I found here in the shop, actually. And I said this would be great. They can actually see what I'm doing. All right. Look, I'm fresh off the boat, y'all. I'm fresh off the plane, fresh out the car. Look, I said, look, I got to come right now and do my video. I told everybody I'm coming, right? So, because we have a plant that is as big as it is, it has a little weight to it, right? So what do we want to do? For one, we want to make sure that our root can fit inside of the pot. Now, sometimes you need to manipulate the root, and it is okay, but you just very carefully manipulate your root. It is flexible to a point. Do you see? They are flexible to a point, and they usually have a roundness effect to them, mimicking them already being inside of a pot, right? So here we go. First, what I do is I place my plant directly in the pot with no soil in it at all. But I place it the way that I want the plant to grow, right? Now, what do I do, right? First of all, let's put this down because we have to talk soil. That is very, very important. Soil mixtures are very important, especially when you want the best growth for your house plants. Outside plants as well. Outside we'll use compost, but inside you need to make your own soil. And inside, most houseplants like something called loam. A loamy soil. L-O-A-M-Y. Loamy soil. That's almost like a soil that if you placed your head on a very soft pillow, it would leave an indentation of your head and then rise slowly back up. That is the kind of soil that you want. So you don't want it to be too loose, right? I'm going to give you a demonstration here. This soil is a bit wet. I wet it for the purpose of the video, and I'm going to give it a little bit more water. But this is what you want. You want soil that can actually turn into a ball, but at the same time, crumble right down easily. Very, very easily. This is the majority of your houseplants want soil like this. No matter if you have begonias, if you have, I don't know, succulent plants, if you have certain things, well, minus succulents. Succulents like a very sandy soil. That's a whole different lesson. We're sticking with this, right? So if you have philodendrons or, you know, this is what they want, all right? So now we're going to get ready to pot up our plant. So what I first do is I like to, and where can we get our soil from? Loamy soil, soft soil, we get it from, I always recommend your local garden shop, your local nursery. And they have different bags, different things on the bags, right? You want potting mix. Simple. Potting mix. I do not recommend for people to use Miracle-Gro when we are dealing with edible foods. If we're growing food outside, or if you have herbs inside that you're growing, I do not recommend for you to use Miracle-Gro. But for houseplants that we are not going to consume, right? We use for aesthetic purposes and we want for beauty, I do recommend Miracle-Gro. Miracle-Gro is a very, very loamy soil. And there are videos down the line that I will teach if you guys are interested. I will teach you guys how to make your own soil yourself. You can find your own soil compartments. We are, of course, earthlings. And everything that we need is here to make better or worse. Remember that. Now, I'm going to bring my big bag of soil over here. It's not that big. I need to get more. And what I like to do is coat the bottom with soil before I even plant. I coat the bottom with soil. Did you see that? This is very, very important. And because of the size of the root and the size of the plant, that is about all I can do to start with as a coating. Right? Now, what do? This is the most important part. Stabilizing your plant and anchoring your plant to where you want it to grow, how you want it to grow. Always think about the main stem. The main stem you usually want sticking straight up. You usually want it up. So that is this. It looks very confusing, but not necessarily. All right? You can check it out. This is the main stem here. All right? It actually starts here and actually already is going kind of straight. And then you have the middle, new growth. This is actually new growth, guys. Right in the middle, growing up. So we want that to be straight. Again, remember, your roots are flexible. They are malleable. You are able to bend them, but not too much. Delicately bend. All right, guys. Now, in all directions, you want to make sure that your plant is straight as possible. All right. And again, guys, this is just a makeshift pot. I'm actually going to take it out of this and put it in a real home, a real pot. But this is for the video so that you guys can see how this magic is done. All right. So now I'm going to hold it in place just like that. I think that's about straight. And I'm going to start to drizzle it with soil. And as I drizzle, I am going to tamp lightly. Tamping is just going like this with the soil, patting the soil down just a bit, not too much, each time. Drizzle, always drizzle. You don't want any clumps of soil in your mixture. It's very easy to, with your hands, just break them apart. Break the hard parts of the soil up. Okay? And again, tamp, tamp, tamp. Every time you tamp, you are helping your plant to stabilize. Because, and be very careful if you, depending on how long your roots are, I'm being very careful of the roots as I tamp. So you kind of want to tamp around the root. It's very, it sounds difficult, but it's very manageable. All right. Now here we go. I'm going to move that. You see that? Now I can take my hand off. We'll get to a point when it's like, okay, I'm in there. I know what I'm doing now. And you can actually take your hand off. And then you dress around. Okay? Now, guys, don't get caught up on how much soil you need. Look, I don't know where we got this thing that your pot needs to be filled with soil, especially when you have new plants. Honestly, this is too much soil, right? We waste soil unnecessarily. And we add to fungi problems and gnat problems when we water. We add to it ourselves by using so much soil. All right. See, it's kind of cocked to the side again. This is what I had to work with right now to show you guys how to pot. Now, what do you do after you pot? Uh-oh. You make sure that it's in. Again, you tamp, you move around, you tamp. It looks like it might need one more layer of fine soil. And I think that's about done. What do you guys think? Looks good to me. It's leaning a little bit. That's actually how it's supposed to be there. How do you think? I think it looks good. Now what do we do? To test our plant, to test the stability of your plant, give it a nice, don't pluck it too hard now, but, you know, give it a nice pluck. And as long as it doesn't move, as long as it stays where you want it to be, you did a good job. Now, what do you think? Comment, subscribe, guys. Like the video, comment, subscribe. One last step. What we do is we'll take our spray bottle, right? And water the soil. See, most people take, this is what I do. This is my little thing of what I do. I kind of like the plant and the roots to scream for soil. To really like, to scream for water. And that creates more growth, faster growth. Because it's like, oh, I want the water, I want the water, I want the water, right? Same thing when I said we propagate in water. You only use a little bit of water. So here we go. And then you give your entire plant a spray. Okay? And that's it, guys. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just like that. You want your soil to be leveled. You may have to go back in and just level out the top of your soil to keep it aesthetically pleasing. But that's it, guys. Again, subscribe. Let me know what you think. This is the end of the propagation series. Tomorrow, we have a fresh new start with a fresh new lesson. Peace and plants, guys.